There is a specific type of highly intelligent child who seems entirely at odds with the physical world. They are the kids who bump into clear desks, dread handwriting, and find themselves struggling with a simple pair of shoelaces. When adults witness this disconnect between a sharp mind and uncoordinated movement, they often draw the same conclusion. They assume the child is being lazy, careless, or simply refusing to pay attention. For the child, this translates into a relentless daily reality. They endure a steady stream of adults telling them to slow down, to watch where they are going, and to just try harder. This cycle of constant behavioral correction is a systemic misdiagnosis of a physical reality. We are treating a biological coordination gap as if it were a character flaw. That physical reality is Developmental Coordination Disorder, or DCD. It is also frequently referred to as dyspraxia. This diagram illustrates a standard classroom of 30 students, showing exactly how common this condition is. DCD affects an estimated 5 to 6% of all school-age children, meaning there are 1 or 2 students managing this in nearly every classroom. Yet, despite its prevalence, DCD is often overlooked. While schools have developed robust systems for spotting conditions like dyslexia and ADHD, dyspraxia remains largely invisible to the adults in the room. As a result, millions of students are penalized for a neurological condition that most of their teachers and parents haven't been trained to recognize. To understand why behavioral correction fails, we have to look at the biology. DCD is a brain-based difference in how movement is planned and coordinated. Before moving a muscle, the brain processes an intention, plans, and executes. In DCD, intention and muscles work, but a severe biological bottleneck hits the planning stage. The brain cannot map out the micro-movements, so signals become disorganized before reaching muscles. This means a child with dyspraxia burns an immense amount of neurological energy just to coordinate a basic action. These kids work twice as hard to achieve half the physical result of their peers. DCD is a mechanical failure of the brain's movement mapping system. Commanding a child to try harder to tie their shoes is as ineffective as commanding a computer to load a broken file. The challenge rarely exists in a vacuum. Dyspraxia frequently overlaps with other neurodivergent conditions, particularly ADHD and dyslexia. But the most devastating effects of the condition are psychological. The real damage comes from the fallout of being perpetually misunderstood by the adults the child relies on for guidance. Year after year of maximum effort yielding minimum results takes a toll. When that struggle is met with constant frustration and discipline, the child's self-confidence erodes. This creates the ultimate hidden cost of unmanaged DCD. These students internalize the criticism, developing chronic anxiety and a deep sense of shame. Left unaddressed, this chronic friction creates long-term psychological trauma, leaving the child with a persistent, false belief that they are broken. Managing this condition requires a two-pronged approach. First, the physical struggle must be addressed through licensed clinicians and occupational therapy. They introduce smart accommodations that bypass the motor planning bottleneck. This involves allowing extra time for tasks, breaking complex actions into smaller steps, and introducing keyboarding to replace painful handwriting. The second intervention is equally vital: professional emotional support. These children need structured counseling to dismantle the shame they have been forced to internalize. Effectively managing DCD requires treating the mechanical movement deficit and the resulting emotional trauma at the same time. Providing that level of specialized emotional care within an educational environment is exactly why MentalSpace School exists. They deliver comprehensive K-12 mental health support directly to schools across Georgia. They supply dedicated teams of licensed, culturally competent therapists assigned specifically to your school, offering crisis intervention and same-day teletherapy for the students who need it most. This graphic highlights the financial accessibility of the care. By integrating tools like MentalSpace School, districts can address the internalized shame of neurodivergent students, providing the professional, emotional support required to help them thrive. Learn more and get your school connected at mentalspaceschool.com.